What's happening? Good evening. Hi, IJ. Thanks for dropping in. I might wait a few minutes before I get started, and then I'm just gonna jump right into this. How you doing this evening? All right. I'm tired. I'm tired, but I'm good overall. Yeah, I'm doing okay. A little bit tired, but I'm excited to do this. Hi, Sheena. Thanks for jumping on. I'm gonna start in a few minutes. So I'm just going to start by, so I have this screen up because I'm gonna just play this song, or I'm gonna play this video of me playing this song rather, and talk about why this page is called Music and Mental Health. Hi, Shy. So music and mental health is something that I started doing at open mic nights. I started going to open mic nights and playing my saxophone and doing my ukulele and the piano. And at first, I would just go up there and play only. I wouldn't speak at all. I would just get up there, announce the songs that I'm going to do, play them, go back to my seat. So somebody suggested to me, because they knew that I wanted to do mental health, public speaking, stuff like that, that when I go for a performance, for a music performance, I do some kind of mental health talk before I start playing. So I tried it out, and what I found was that standing up with an instrument in your hand right before you're about to play, that's when everybody is the quietest and the most attentive, which was a little bit nerve wracking at first. But then I found like this is the best time for me to have that audience, was right before I started playing. So for this series, I'm going to play music before I start the actual speech that I'm getting into, and then I'm going to get into that. So I'm going to start now. The song that I played here was Open Arms by Journey. Hi, Nayrick. Thank you, IJ. Thank you, Nayrick. Thank you, Michelle. So that's the beginning. I like to open up with music. For those who weren't on here at the beginning, I was just quickly explaining that the name Music and Mental Health started from something that I was doing at open mic nights where I would speak, I would play my music, and also I would speak before I played the music. So this is kind of the opposite that I'm going to be doing while I'm doing it online, where I put the music on first, and then after I'm done, I get into my mental health topic. So I pretty much put this together today, little bit last minute. Yes, the alto sax maintenance chick. You know what you know about the saxophone. Um, I put this thing together this today after I went live this morning, and some people told me that they would like to hear about uh, what I usually talk about, which is mental health topics. So I made this PowerPoint, and I'm just gonna go through this. And the PowerPoint is about how I overcame agoraphobia and panic disorder to become a champion. All right. So, I grew up in a rural area in Canada. Spent most of my youth here. I'm getting into that maintenance chick. I'm definitely gonna have an explanation in another slide. So this is actually my house here in Curtis, Ontario. I lived in a pretty nice area. You know, my neighborhood was nice. It wasn't a mansion or anything, but it was a pretty nice house, a pretty nice area. Didn't really experience any kind of major trouble there or anything. I lived in that area for about 11 years. And like I said, for the most part, I had a good childhood. I didn't experience an extreme struggle with, let's say, poverty or, those kind of things, not having food to eat, not going to a good school. Like, I had all of those things, lived kind of a, yes, we will, maintenance chick, lived in kind of a pretty good neighborhood and everything like that. Middle class life. In school, I was taught about the average things that you learn: math, science, geography, English, French, whatever subjects that you can think of, throw those in there. Um, but one thing that I was never taught about was emotional quotient. And my family, my mom is Guyanese, my father is Ghanaian, and definitely that was not part of the curriculum at home. And that's just not something they teach at school, or not any school that I know of. So, you're kind of on your own in that regard. You're just taught how to go to work or get a job, pay the bills, the average things that you learn in school, and skills to be able to get into those jobs. I know that any time that I was sad, angry, restless, or anything in between, my only lesson was that I had to stay silent to show the world how strong that I was. And I did that. You lived emotional BS every day, IJ. I got you. I hear you. I had to stay silent to show the world how strong I was. So I managed to do this for a long time in life until my strength ran out. In 2012 is when I got my diagnosis. I was working at a job. The job was actually at a paint factory. I worked really long hours, and the conditions in there were really poor. It was really hot in there. It was a place where they actually coated medical equipment with paint, and it was very hot. They had a really hot oven, and I was doing maintenance in there, and I had the whole hazmat suit on, and it was just a lot going on. And at that time, I wasn't taking care of myself too good. Mid 20s at that time, and just eating whatever, doing whatever, sleeping very little. And one day at work, while working a double shift, I had a really debilitating panic attack. If anyone knows or has experienced a panic attack, yeah, the chemical exposure was real, maintenance chick. So yeah, I am going to get to these comments. If anyone knows what a panic attack is really, really scary. Yes, I hate panic attacks too, Michelle Barrow. It felt like I was dying because at that time I didn't know what it was. I just know that my heart was racing, my chest hurt, I was hyperventilating, the room was spinning. I think I was having a headache, sweats, chills, shakes, nerves, all that kind of stuff. But it was towards the end of my shift, so I just asked my boss, "Hey, can I go home? I'm not feeling well." And my boss was like, "Yeah, no problem." And somehow I was able to just get those words out, even though I felt like I was dying. And I remember going to my car and sitting in my car just trying to catch my breath. Yes, it's very debilitating. And I was taking deep breaths and I couldn't catch my breath. And it was just a terrible time. My house, fortunately, was only about 5 minutes from the job. So I said to myself, okay, it's pretty late night. I can probably drive for 5 minutes and get to my house and then hopefully go to sleep and sleep whatever this is off, make it back to work in the morning. I got home. I tried to calm myself down. I couldn't. I couldn't really sleep too well that night. Yeah, you're right, Michelle. It's very scary. It feels like you're gonna die, especially when you don't know what it is. And I got up in the morning to go to work, still feeling the residual fear and anxiety from the night before. It's a pretty long story about what happened from there, but I remember eventually I went to the doctor, the general physician, and the general physician was like, "Oh, no problem. You just have general anxiety and clinical depression." And he just prescribed me Xanax and was like, "Whenever you feel like that feeling that you had, take the Xanax. You'll be all right." He really kind of downplayed it. Like mental health, I feel now is more spoken about and more known and more understood. But even 10 years ago, it was a lot less so. Okay, so onto the answer to your question that you asked earlier, maintenance chick. Agoraphobia. So over time, the panic disorder that I had became agoraphobia. So like a definition that I had found here is the condition in which individuals fear leaving their home or avoid situations slash places that may cause panic. So I can tell you exactly how it happened for me. I was fired from that job. I was fired from that job because basically my boss discovered that I was having panic attacks and asked me what was going on. And I thought that I could confide in him. And he was just like, "Oh yeah, I understand. We can make adjustments for you, blah blah blah." But eventually I got fired from the job for it. They didn't give that as the reason, but that was the reason. Um, so I was back home. I went back home. I moved back in with my family. You saw, oh yes, Veronica, nightmare. And then I started experiencing these panic attacks in my house. So panic attacks, basically, if anybody knows about our fight or flight reflex that is built into our bodies and our nervous system, it's like when we are in an actual danger, like let's say you are being chased by a bear, um, it sends some toxins have effects on our nerves. Yeah, our fight or flight. So our fight or flight is supposed to be triggered when we are in real danger. But it starts to get triggered by fear. And that's what was happening to me. And then the fear of fear was causing more and more panic attacks. And then my safe zone started to shrink. First, it was like I could go to my gym, I could go to certain places. Then it was like I could just walk around the block. Then it became so bad that it was like I can't even go outside without having a panic attack. As soon as I step outside, my mind was telling me something catastrophic was gonna happen. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. I'm definitely gonna get into these comments at the end. Yeah, so man, I got outside and then I would instantly get panic attacks. And then it shrunk even further from inside my house to inside my room. I was inside my room every day. The only time I left my room, go to the kitchen and go to the bathroom. And inside my room, I was having panic attacks several times every day. And it was just terrible. I was losing weight, losing a lot of weight. I wasn't eating, wasn't really taking care of myself. This is a picture of me. The picture on the left is a picture of me during that time. Okay, I'm going to read these comments now. So, a so-called medical professional diminished your symptoms, then workplace fake offer to make your environment safer. Yeah, you got that right. You got that right. Also, medical conditions with the chemicals are possible. Yeah, I think the chemicals contributed to that. Definitely. Yeah, Michelle, or I'm going to be killed or essay. It's very scary. No, it's not rude. My age is 34. I'm going to be 35 on Sunday. I hope y'all join my birthday live on Saturday. I'm going to be going live. Yeah, and during this time, Veronica, people said all kinds of things about me. Like, you're looking like Osama bin Laden. Like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you smiling more? It was just, it's a time that I don't really want to remember, but it's also important. Yeah, so I have on this slide, somehow my life became the four corners of my room, and I didn't leave my room for almost a year. Oh, the age at the time this was going on, about 24, 25, something like that. So this kind of skips a lot, to be honest. I made this really quickly, but I'm going to talk more when I finish this. Uh, this is just some general ways that I overcame it. Exercise. If you guys have seen my page, you know that I always have a lot of exercise on there, whether that be runs, races, obstacle courses, Spartan race, Tough Mudder, those kind of things. They really give me something to dedicate my energy towards. Because something that I had for sure was sleep issues. I had serious, serious sleep issues. Sometimes I still have them, but they were worse. Yeah, good for our serotonin. They were worse than they are now. It gives me something to tire myself out. You get why I do what I do for a living? Yes, maintenance chick. That's how got into the field to help other people with similar struggles. So this is one thing I wanted to talk about that people have been asking me about. Gradual exposure therapy. This is the main thing that helped me get back outside of my house. So this definition that I found online. Exposure therapy is a psychological treatment that was developed to help people confront their fears. When people are fearful of something, they tend to avoid the feared objects, activities, or situations. Although this avoidance might help reduce feelings of fear in the short term, over the long term, it can make the fear become even worse. In such situations, a psychologist might recommend a program of exposure therapy to help break the pattern of avoidance and fear. In this form of therapy, psychologists create a safe environment in which to expose the individuals to things they fear and avoid. The exposure to the feared objects, activities, or situations in a safe environment helps reduce fear and decrease avoidance. So I'm just going to give you like a non-scientific explanation. Thank God for people like you. Thank you, maintenance chick. I'm going to give you like a non-scientific explanation of what that meant for me. Because I didn't study this in school. This is mostly just things that I've learned from my own therapy. When I started going to this therapist, that was hard in itself. I had to take the Xanax to even be able to get in the car to go to the therapist. The therapist talked to me about gradual exposure. So she told me to help get me outside, she was like, what you need to do is start slow. She told me to go outside, take my favorite music, put it on my headphones, sit on the step for like 1 minute. Make a goal of sitting on the step for 1 minute. Do deep breaths in and out. While listening to that calming music, go back inside the house. That was my gradual exposure for the day. Back in the day, they did something called flooding, which was like, if you are fearful of something, you dive right into it. And they found that that was not an effective method because it made the fear worse for some people. Like just jumping into something that you are extremely fearful of. So at first I thought that was stupid. I'm like, I have to teach myself to go outside? That's crazy to me. But I tried it, sat outside, did the breathing, did the music, came back inside, wasn't that bad. Tried it again the next day, added 15, 20, 30 seconds to it, not that bad. So we moved from sitting on the step to walking to the end of the driveway and coming back. It's literally like how a kid learns different things, except you're like an adult who has learned things already, and then your brain unlearns them, and you have to rewire your brain to learn them again. So it was a long process, and I really had to be committed to it. So I started down the driveway, then I started 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, etc., until I got to the point where I get out into those spaces and places, and my brain is like, you're not in danger when you get there. And the rewiring took place to where now, I mean, I don't think that you ever really fully get rid of that, but the panic attacks I get are much less. They're less often, they're less frequent, and they're less intense. And I know kind of what to do when they happen. Let me see here. I have really bad nerves, and I noticed it makes me relax. It lifts my mood and improves my concentration, and is also an aid for insomnia so that you can have better sleep. Music changed my son. That's very nice. Awesome. The therapist did so much for me. I'm so thankful for her. It is old school teachings, maintenance chick. It is such old school teachings. Suck it up and endure for sure. Awesome. Thank you. Little by little. Yeah. And then, believe it or not, before I get into the music part, something I was very fearful of too was the gym, because I started to get scared that when I did some kind of intense exercise and my heart rate goes up, I was going to have a panic attack or a heart attack or something. So I had to use the gradual exposure in there too. Like 1 minute on the treadmill walking. Get up, go to the gym for 1 minute on the treadmill, get out of the gym, and leave. This was just cementing a memory in my head that my heart rate can go up and I'm still okay. And then the next day, 1.5 minutes. The next day, 2 minutes. It was just like that. This whole process took me probably maybe a good year, maybe a good year before I got to the point where I was not fearful of those things anymore. And it sucked. But I'm thankful because I know people who unfortunately just decide I'm going to stay in my house. I'm not going to leave my house. And that's a really, really hard way to live. I tell you from experience. Music, retraining our brain and our retraining our that's exactly what it is, Michelle. Retraining our brain and retraining the thoughts. That's the exact terminology. Marcus Story can help so many others. Oh, that's why I'm putting it on here. That's exactly why I'm putting it on here. Thank you. Um, let's see. Music. Music has always been a part of my life since I was a little kid. I started playing the piano when I was 3. I started playing the saxophone when I was 10. The ukulele is more recent, couple years. I was singing, from the time I was able to talk. But all those things, music at that time, at that point in time, was just something that I did because I liked. Yeah, you got like stopping smoking, gotta retrain our habits. Exactly. It was just something that I liked, but something that I learned through mental illness and everything like that. How did you learn to play instruments? Well, the first instrument, the piano, my mom gave me piano lessons. That's how I first learned that. The saxophone, I was in high school band, and the ukulele I taught myself a few years ago. So through this process of healing, music, fitness, all this other extracurricular stuff, these are things that I just did because I liked them and because I enjoyed them. So it was like I could pick them up and put them down whenever. Pick this up, play this saxophone now, and then not play it again for 2 months, 3 months, and it doesn't matter. I realize that those are part of my maintenance routine. I need those things in order to keep me whole, in order to keep me well. Because otherwise, you get into this loop of just going to work, coming home, taking care of other people, and not necessarily taking care of yourself or doing things that make you happy or feeling fulfilled. So, as I got out of my agoraphobia, as I reduced my anxiety and my clinical depression and panic disorder, I started to schedule these things into my life so that I do them all the time, as often as possible. Whether it's by myself, whether it's in front of people, for people, it's just something that I need to do to keep myself level and stable. Music is very healing, Michelle. The sax is, yeah, definitely different, but the ukulele was the hardest one for me out of those three. Stringed instruments are way different than woodwind. Support system, family and friends. It was vital for me having a few solid support people that I could always reach out to whenever I had difficulties. This is one of the hardest parts, I feel. The maintenance part is your hold up. Pets. Pets are definitely a big help, Veronica. What is the hold up about the maintenance, Lisa? Is it that you get too caught up in your day-to-day stuff that you don't think about scheduling in like maintenance and self-care items? So it's really hard to have a support system, as anybody who has any kind of mental health struggle knows, because it's hard to find people, especially if they're not experiencing it themselves, who are willing to listen, who try to understand you. It's just really difficult, and then it can be heavy to explain to somebody the type of symptoms that you have and what they do to you, because not everybody, even I have found people that I thought were like really close friends of mine, and then I start telling them about my struggles, my issues, what I experience, and they're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna stand over here because I don't know about that," or they might think, "Oh, You're crazy. I didn't know you were one of those, even though they don't tell you that. I found a lot of people disappeared from me. That's an interesting question, Veronica, because it makes me think about it makes me think about Brittany. Makes me think about Brittany from Big Brother. I actually tried hypnotherapy, I think twice, and I think that you can make it work for you if you believe in what it's doing for you. So I don't think that it's something where you go under a trance or whatever, but yeah, I think it's based on, it's almost like, what is that thing called? I can't think of it. I can't think of it. Placebo effect. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Placebo effect. Chronic pain. You know what? That's another thing, Michelle. People who have chronic pain often, or probably always, have associated feelings of, depression and stuff because it's hard to be in pain all the time. It's something that I temporarily learned from a long-term injury that I have. It's better now, but yeah, that's something that I learned. I got into a rut, stuck in the same routine. I started thinking, as long as the kids are happy and healthy, I've put in enough for today. And that is so common, Lisa. That is very common what you said right there. Too common. And it's not like, because especially when you have people in your home with needs every day, with immediate needs that have to get taken care of, you don't think of yourself. I think that self-care time has to actually be scheduled. And of course, things happen, different stuff happens, emergencies, variables, but for the most part, self-care has to be scheduled. And as an example for me, I found that when I was like, I'm just gonna work out whenever, things always got in the way and I didn't work out. Then I was like, these are my workout times. This day and this time, from this time to this time, is on my schedule, is locked in. Just like if I was going to work and my work time is 9 to 5, my workout time is 5 to 6. I can do something aside from that workout if needed, but don't bother me unless that's an emergency. And everybody knows. Don't contact Mark during that time. Oh, some days are better than okay. Scripture helps me as well. I pray for strength. So do I. I agree. Hi D. Sadness. Pray music and scriptures for me as well. Awesome, IJ. Some days are better than others. I have fibromyalgia too, Michelle, and I understand the pain is unbearable. Sometimes I cannot get out of bed because I'm so fatigued. Sorry you experienced that, Chai. Exactly. It's another one of those silent things that people can't see. When they can see like a broken leg, when they can see that you're in a wheelchair, or they can see a neck brace, a cast on your arm, it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. But if it's something that they can't visually see, they don't even try to relate. You can throw one in there, maintenance chick. I'll read it. Yeah, so the support system. Oh, bedridden, but thank God for YouTube. The support system, a lot of people think that you need 100 people. If you have one, two, three really good ones that you can count on, that's enough. That's my feeling. That's enough. If you have more than that, that's an added bonus. But if you have that many, even that many, that is enough. Hello, Tanika. All right, I think I'm close to the end. And it's funny you guys mentioned scriptures because faith was on there for me. I definitely, my faith in God, helped push me through the times when I wasn't sure if what I was doing was going to bring me to where I wanted to be. Um, God kept me strong and helped me keep going. Simple. And I think this is my last slide. Finding purpose in helping others. After I had my own experience with these mental health challenges and the things that I had to go through to get the care that I needed, to get the understanding that I needed, because this is a longer story than what's going to be on this live right now, but it was a really long and arduous process. But I found a purpose in helping other people going through similar struggles. I became a peer support specialist, also known as a wellness coach, also known as a wellness and recovery specialist, but it all means the same thing. It's just essentially somebody who has gone through the mental health system, has their own diagnosis, and uses their diagnosis and the things, their own lived experience to assist others. Tanika, I'm sorry. I was reading two things at once. This was a slideshow that I put together about my story and how I overcame anxiety and agoraphobia. And you can watch it back on the replay. It's going to be here on the replay. I'm usually the one coaching other people, so never thought I needed anything from them. And that's honestly the case a lot of the time, Lisa. A lot of the givers need the most help, but don't really realize it because they're always giving. You know what I mean? Thanks so much for sharing, Mark. You're putting so much of your energy into us. Thank you. The fact that people are appreciating that is why I'm doing it. Thanks for suggesting this, actually. I was excited to put this presentation together. Awesome, Mark. Thanks, Shine. Michelle. Thanks. Perfect convo. We all been through or know someone we know. We need friends and family to help us fighting all the pain, all the phobias in life. Right, Michelle. Let's see. You give, and then we become empty. Absolutely. Take care of yourself first. That's something that I always say. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Love this community you are building, Mark. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Self-care is not selfish. Absolutely. And sometimes we think that way. Sometimes we need to do boundary setting, even with people who need us. Like, even though there's people who need us, we're all humans. We have limits. We're not like limitless people who can just do things and never need to be filled ourselves. I've had lots of therapy as well. Can't keep others warm by setting yourself on fire. That's one of my favorites. I love quotes, by the way, Lisa and others. I like that one. Let's see, what time do we got? Okay, I'm going to be on here a little longer. Amen. Yeah, so that's basically a short version of my story. It's like a short version of why I do this, why I made this page, why I made this brand. As an anxiety sufferer, I understand how hard it is to deal with that daily. It takes an extreme toll on your mental health. I just recently, oh, you did? I'm sorry to hear that. You know what? I feel like having an anxiety disorder and having depression is like you wake up with a weighted backpack on your back. So while other people might just get out of bed and feel like the normal stuff that you feel in the morning, tired, I don't really want to get up, it's like I have to demonstrate strength to lift this backpack up, to get myself just to be able to get up. I've already exerted extra energy from the reserve tank to be able to do that. And then I carry that backpack around all day while doing other things. Like I'm some kind of superhero. I have the weighted backpack while I go to work, while I help other people, while I do this and while I do that. And then I get to a certain point of the day where I feel like I can't carry this anymore. But then I carry it some more. And then what happens over time, you start to develop back problems. Your knees hurt, your joints hurt, you know? So sometimes you got to take that backpack off, put it down. I've been taking care of my mother with dementia and Alzheimer's. It's been a challenge. I have anxiety so bad now. Once I open my eyes in the morning, I cannot go back to sleep. Yeah, like I told you before, I so understand that. So appreciate your openness. No problem. You're a success, Mark. That is something to be proud of. Thank you, Michelle. Tamika and Shy. Oh, Shy, my heart aches for you. Been there. It's hard. It's hard taking care of a parent with anxiety and I'm with Alzheimer's and dementia. That's what my dad experiences. Nothing but truth here. Yeah. Anyone who was on this morning, by the way, thanks for suggesting for me to do this because I was not planning to do this specific thing. I was trying to figure out what next show to work on, which I will be doing too. But yeah, just know that you may not recognize you, but they know they love you. That's a deep statement, Michelle. My mom, 93, just passed in January. I'm so sorry. So sorry to hear that. Yeah, so that's my speech for today. And appreciate all of you for being on here and for those who are going to watch later. And I will be doing these talks. I will be doing these talks at least once or twice a week going forward. They're going to go in my mental health playlist. And if you have any topic suggestions or anything like that, hi Madeline. If you have any topic suggestions or anything like that, send them to me or put it in the comments and I'll figure out how to put something together for that. Not too much, Madeline. I'm winding down here, but this was a video about my experience with mental health and overcoming struggles. Thank you, Mark. This is awesome. So many of us have been through this. We need this, Mark. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Dee. Thank you, Tanika. Tanika, it was really hard for me when I first got my diagnosis. I didn't even believe it. Excuse me. I was like, there must be something physically wrong with me that people just haven't found yet. I went to the hospital a bunch of times. I got a bunch of different tests. Um, Endoscopy. I got a colonoscopy. I got chest X-rays. I got MRIs on the brain. I got all kinds of different things because I didn't want to believe that it could be what they said it was in terms of mental health. When I thought of mental health, honestly, I was ignorant and I believed just all the stereotypes of seeing people in the movies rocking back and forth in the chair, hands tied up and all that stuff. I'm like, I'm not one of them crazies. That's what I was saying at that time. And then what happened to me was I finally came to a point of acceptance after a while when I finally had somebody explain to me that anxiety can actually cause so many different physical symptoms. They call them somatic symptoms. I remember not being able to leave the bathrooms. Oh, man, Rich, man. I had the same experience, Rich. I had that same experience. I used to hide in the bathroom at work. Madeline, anxiety throws so many things in your system off kilter. It throws so many things off kilter. It was giving me migraines, it was giving me acid reflux, it was making me lose weight. It was so many different things that were happening to me. I've been there. Bless you, Rich. Yeah, Rich, you are not alone, especially in here. Especially in here. I so appreciate this group, actually. Yeah, so it can do so many different things to your body. Yeah, we got same likes and same people. So everyone in here has hit the like button. I appreciate that. Your sharing is a blessing. We need to normalize this and remove the stigma around mental health care. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. That's the reason why I'm not afraid to speak about it anymore. I used to be. I did not just start speaking about this right away. I was very embarrassed at first. I wanted to keep it a secret. I didn't want to tell anybody. I was told not to tell anybody. I was told they're going to judge you, they're going to criticize you. Now it's actually what I do for a living. I talk to people about mental health for a living. We have got to talk about mental health and not be ashamed. Yeah, it's hard. Same. You're so brave to do so, Mark. Thank you. I feel like it's my calling. I have to do it. I feel like I have to do it because there was a point in time in my life where I felt like I was two separate people because I was going to therapy and therapy groups and all that. And then in my regular life, I was just regular Mark, where I didn't show anybody that I had any issues. If I had them, excuse myself to the side, never tell anybody. And then there was like therapeutic Mark, where I'm in therapy, talking to all these people who have similar things. And then I was like, I don't like being two people because I'm not two people. I'm one person. I am a person who can have fun. I'm a person who can, you know, be around people and do different fun things and activities. And I'm also a person that can be scared sometimes. I'm a person that can have strong emotions at times. I'm a person who can be really anxious. I'm a person who could be very depressed and not want to leave my room and not want to leave my bed. I can be all of those things, and that's okay. And if you have a problem with this person that has these experiences and problems, I don't need you. And that's that. And I actually found that more people liked this version of me than the people who liked the one that was only the fun guy and the one that was always the anxious, sad, stressed guy. Because it's like then they just know me, one person who can be all of those things. I'm an overcomer. Yes, you are. Do you guys think group therapy works? It helped me, Tanika, but I'll say it helped me to a point. Sweet lady, but it did nothing for me. God has given you this platform to continue your work. Yes. Um, yeah, group therapy, it helped me to a point, but then I reached a point where I felt like I didn't need it and it wasn't beneficial for me. But it different things for different people. Yeah, yeah, Madeline, it's different for everyone. And it also depends on who the therapist is, their style, how it resonates with you. That's the same thing that it goes for. Good thing this isn't Zoom. You guys got me in my feelings. This is this. Hi, Ellen. So different people resonate differently with everyone. How does group therapy work? Basically, you have a group leader. Yeah, I'll definitely do a Zoom, Lisa. I wanna get your guys info. I wanna get your guys info if you're interested in doing the Zoom. Your email, that's what I mean by info. Um Yeah, so to answer your question, maintenance chick, well, all group therapy is not the same, but they usually have a clinician. Sometimes it's people that sit around in a circle, and the clinician has like a group topic, has like a topic, and then they bring the topic to the group, and then, they start presenting it or whatever, and then they leave open spaces for the people in the group to comment, to talk about what's going on in their life. I basically give group therapy sometimes. I'm not a LCSW or LMSW, but I give group therapy. Just it's not necessarily called group therapy when it's a peer counselor. But some people have told me they really enjoy my groups. How I do my groups is that I don't really make them about the diagnosis so much because I feel like that's what you get in individual therapy a lot. So I find things that are tools that you can use in your life, and I bring them into like I bring an article or something into the group. I go through the article, and then I ask people if they have any commentary, and that usually opens the discussion. And then people usually have many different things to talk about from there. But I really like giving people tools that they can take with them for the week. My anxiety acts out in weird ways, like being afraid to open emails or schedule appointments. Hear that? I hear that, Ellen. That's right, Mark. Self care is needed, and when you're taking care of someone doing it, I'm alone with no help is depressing. Yeah, that's a tough one, Shy. So would I. Everyone has seen my face, Lisa. I would like to see some of yours. I never said that about people alone before, let alone a big brother. I never thought from a big brother group I would find people that I could talk to about this. I just happened to mention that randomly during a live. Caretakers especially need an outlet. Because if you break down and somebody else is depending on you, that's a problem. Speaking from experience. I'm a skinny old white woman. This is an amazing community. I find when we are going through something, basically we don't have a life. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Anyone who has my Instagram and you're interested in doing a Zoom, send me your email. And if you don't have it and want it, music and mental health on Instagram. Send me your email address. And I'll get like an email list going, and we can do something like this. I used to do something like this before. Gave it up a while ago. I'm 58 and refuse to turn 59. I took care of my dad before he passed away, and he was very angry. My Xanax makes me feel very sleepy and I never take it. Oh man, Rich, you're speaking to me. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Those anxiety symptoms can be terrible. Just didn't understand why something so. Yeah, so I think that the group environment is usually a little bit less personal. Yes, you do get people who tend to overshare a little bit, but in general, the topics are a little less personal than they are in your one-on-one therapy. I pray for strength and for God to give me patience. It does take patience. Yeah. I take care of my dad, but I have had help. The feeling of serial killers are chasing you. Speaking to me. I just got home from work. I work nonstop all weekend. I also have severe anxiety. I do have prescriptions that I take as needed. Thank you for doing this live. Thank you, Holly, for coming. I'm always on here a little longer than expected, Lisa. I was gonna leave after about 30 minutes, but your comments is why I'm still here. I understand that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what? There's something that I always read that I kind of want to close with. Okay. Whenever I do like a presentation, some of you may have seen this before. All right. All right. Yeah, direct message me your email, Holly, and anyone else who wants to be a part. I guess you can't see this whole thing, but I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it. That was rude. That sound was rude. Okay. A psychologist walked around the room while teaching stress management to an audience. As she raised a glass of water, everyone expected they'd be asked the half empty or half full question. Instead, with a smile on her face, she inquired, "How heavy is this glass of water?" Answers called out ranged from 8 ounces to 20 ounces. She replied, "The absolute weight doesn't matter. It depends on how long I hold it. If I hold it for a minute, it's not a problem. If I hold it for an hour, I'll have an ache in my arm. If I hold it for a day, my arm will feel numb and paralyzed. In each case, the weight of the glass doesn't change, but the longer I hold it, the heavier it becomes." She continued, "The stresses and worries in life are like that glass of water. Think about them for a while, nothing happens. Think about them a bit longer, and they begin to hurt. And if you think about them all day long, you will feel paralyzed, incapable of doing anything. Remember to put the glass down." So, if you got that, the weight of the glass didn't matter. The longer you hold it, the heavier it becomes. The stresses and worries in life are like that glass of water. Think about them for a while, nothing happens. Think about them for a little longer, they begin to hurt. And if you think about them all day long, you'll feel paralyzed, incapable of doing anything. Remember to put the glass down. And to explain what putting the glass down looks like, worrying about something all day isn't going to change it. Even if it's an ongoing situation, even if it's something that putting it down doesn't mean that it's over. Putting it down, holding it up means that you're suffering twice. You're suffering through the situation, and then you're suffering through the mental anguish that you're going through thinking about that situation. Putting the glass down means plugging in things that allow your mind to think about something else. For me, like I told you guys, music and fitness. For you guys, it could be anything. It could be cooking a favorite meal. It could be going to your local park. It could be watching that movie that you always wanted to watch. It could be Big Brother. It could be hanging with a friend. It could be knitting. It could be some kind of sports. It could be going for a drive. The point of the matter is putting the glass down means different things for different people, but you can never worry so much about something that you make it better by worrying. Put the glass down. Yep. So I'm getting ready to go, but if you guys have any final comments, I'm gonna take a read before I head out. And I also, of course, want to thank the audience here. I hope some of that resonated with somebody or helped somebody, and I'm definitely worrying does nothing. Make yourself happy first. Listen, Holly, I think that everybody that has come here through the Big Brother community overanalyzes, including myself. So I think that's probably a part of what connects us. The best thing that helps. I love music. Mm, I love music. I'm about to throw some of that on soon. Thanks, maintenance chick. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rich. I learned something new about all you guys too. Thank you. That was a great example. I love singing too. Nice. Thank you again, Mark, for building this community. This is bigger than Big Brother. That means a lot to me. Thank you, maintenance chick. That means a lot. And you're one of my first people in here as well. I mean, you're one of my first people when I started doing these lives as well. Thank you, so Mark, so much. Thank you to everyone here. You guys are so. This is such a supportive group. Music gives us peace. Absolutely. Absolutely. Agreed, maintenance chick. Yeah, so that was Lisa's always giving me some great suggestions. We can definitely get like a Zoom thing going like once or twice a month. That would be cool. That would be cool. Thanks for sharing your story. I was in and out. You can definitely catch it on the replay though. You're a very intelligent man. Thank you, T. Williams. I really appreciate that. You know what? It brings me back to what Holly said. You said overanalyzing, but for me, my problem was overthinking. And I said to myself, if I understand this problem so well, and if I've read all these different books and tried all these different methods, why am I not getting better? To me, I literally think of anxiety as the overthinking disorder. That's what I call it. I call it the overthinking disorder. You think yourself into it. You can't think yourself out of it. You have to get out of it actually by clearing your thoughts and just learning how to feel and be present in the moment. Helping others is a form of self-help. Yes, it is, Lin. That's why I do that for a living. I have a plan, then a backup, then a backup plan for the backup plan. I'm here on standby listening. I love this chat, such a positive outlet. Thank you, Amari. Thank you all for the chat and everyone being so supportive and uplifting everyone. I'm proud to be part of this group/chat. Thank you. Back to sax. Oh, you played baritone and tenor in marching band and orchestra? Nice. Anxiety is the devil. Depersonalization. I have, Ethan. I'm not currently experiencing that, but I have definitely experienced depersonalization in the past. In the past, you know something I do for fun? I haven't done in a long time, but I used to do for fun was karaoke. Karaoke nights. Let me see here. Yeah, that's a whole that's a whole other topic. We should try that. Um, Rich. Oh man. Okay. I've never done karaoke. Yes, hitting that high note like that was the one I was laughing at. Maybe everyone can talk about what you've been through and what helps them overcome adversity. Absolutely, D, just not right now. Just because I don't have the time, but for sure. And we can do this Zoom thing. Karaoke is out of the I never sang. It was years between the first time I started singing in public as a kid and when I started doing it now. I was terrified as an adult to sing in public, even though I was so brave as a kid. You're a little flat. I'm not really a singer like that, maintenance chick. Not really a singer. Thank you, everyone. I love Yeah, me too, Lisa D. Me too. I always call myself a shower superstar. I'm decent, but you know, I'm gonna listen in. I deal with anxiety and many I love as do as well. Thanks for sharing, Mark. I already forwarded this to someone I know that's dealing with anxiety, depression, and no self-confidence. I hope it helps. I hope it helps them. Thank you. Love this song since I'm a Leo. I can't sing either. But you're a musician, and I know that musicians know whether somebody is sharp or flat for sure. Musicians can always hear when something is out of tune. Musicians always know when something is out of tune. He's able. This is a song I did with my grandma when she was sick. He's able. Really shy? Wow. Yeah, I love my grandma. I'm so close to her. She had a stroke in 2019, I want to say, and I rushed over there. I brought my ukulele, and she loved when I did this music with her. She absolutely loved it. And now she's walking again. She's walking, she's able to move, exercise. Music has healing powers, people. Music has healing powers. I perform at like nursing homes and stuff, and she told me at that time, she was like, Mark, music is your ministry because she said, you have no idea how much better that you made me feel coming here and singing with me and all that. And she was stressed at this time. Yeah. Now she's good. She's 87. Anyways, y'all, thanks for sharing with me. Appreciate all of you. And we'll do this again. Oh, also, where are we here? I'm scrolling up. Scrolling up. Amari, I'm sorry for the loss of your grandmother, whenever it was. I know that I'm sure that that's a pain that never goes away. Uh, Sorry about that, maintenance chick. My grandfather had Alzheimer's. My dad currently is on a later stage of Alzheimer's and dementia, unfortunately. Have a good night, Tanika. Appreciate you. Night, everyone.